11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think they're going to win it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Thanks to those joining me live and those will be joining me on archive. D-Style here. I hope everyone's having a good day and all that good stuff. It's been quite a weekend of boxing. I have yet to watch all the fights. I'm going to be very honest and transparent. It's very difficult with my job to watch the fights on a weekend sometimes, right? Unless I get the time off. But I did get to watch the main fight, Beterbiev Bivol. I have not gotten an opportunity to watch like the Japanese fights, the Nakatani fight. I haven't had an opportunity to watch those fights, to be honest with you. But I'll get to it. And right on time for an HCP show midweek and the roundtable and all that. So I will get to it. But that's right. Shout out to Andre Rodriguez. I appreciate the membership, brother. Much appreciated. Shout out to Remy. Appreciate the membership as well. It was a great weekend of boxing. There's no doubt about that. What I want to talk about is scoring. And let me just tweet this out real quick. There we go. Maybe I should play the clip. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll play it. Bro, like, I don't know what it is, man. Ever since Twitter turned into X, it's so hard to look shit up, bro. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Or like if something gets lost in your timeline, it's so hard to find it. It refreshed and I lost the fucking clip, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll go to Chris Algieri's dude, even looking up like shit, like it's crazy. He hasn't posted in a while, so whatever. I watched the fight live and I was just enjoying the fight. I wasn't scoring it. And when I watched it, I'll be honest, when it was going to scorecards, I honestly didn't know who was going to win. Like, I thought it was that close of a fight. I thought it was a very close fight. And then I went back and rewatched it one more time, and I scored it, 7-5 for Beterbiev, and I could have had it a draw very easily, or even 7-5 Bivol. Like, if two rounds that I felt could have gone either way went the other way. It was just one of those fights. I don't know what else to tell people. It was a very, very close fight. My issue, and the reason I'm doing this video, is we had like that dude, Dan Canobili and Chris Algieri. They do like a show together, right? And they're talking about how it seems like the guys coming forward are getting all the decisions, and it's like all you got to do is come forward, and you don't have to be effective at all. But they're going to give you the decision, and I just don't think that's happening at all. Actually, I don't believe that aggressive fighters are being given the benefit of the doubt just because they're coming forward. I don't think that's like an epidemic that's occurring, right? I don't think that's like a problem we're having in the sport or nothing like that, quite frankly. Um, but I really want to find that damn track and play it. I seriously cannot find anybody on this app, bro. It gives me people I'm not even following. Like when I do searches on X. X is such a horrible app now. Like Jesus Christ. Maybe I ain't gonna find it. I'm not gonna spend the live looking for it. Um, so me personally, I don't think there's a controversy. That's just me, right? I don't think there's, in my opinion, it's not a. In my opinion, the fight could have gone either way. But there is a controversy because people make it a controversy. One person cannot decide it's not a controversy to me, therefore it's not a controversy. No, no, no. If there's people out there claiming, enough people saying one guy should have won, that dictates if it's a controversy or not. Just to correct myself, right? So, Anthony, you don't get to decide if it's a controversy or not, right? The circumstances around it and at the macro level, people and how people are reacting to it dictates if it's a controversy or not, right? That's the reality. I don't agree with those people, right? But it's not here nor there. But I wanted to talk about this. So, first of all, I thought both guys fought a really good fight. Let me just say that right out of the gate. I thought both guys fought a very good fight. And Beterbiev started a little slow. And look, I don't want to pat myself in the back or anything like that, but the fight itself went a lot like I said it would. Right? I said there was going to be 3 parts in this fight, although you could argue there was maybe 4, right? Actually, but I said Bivol would start good early. I felt first 4 rounds, most people would have Bivol up like 4-0 or 3-1, right? And I do think that was correct. And the middle rounds were going to get tough because that's when Beterbiev, who's good enough to close distance, was going to apply even more pressure. A lot of the rust was going to come off, right? And Bivol was going to have to weather a middle storm. And then Bivol would make an adjustment and take over the fight again. And then I said in the 4th part, either they'll ride it out till the end, right? Meaning I thought maybe Bivol would take over and win the decision, or Beterbiev will get him in the end and knock him out. And obviously that last part didn't happen, right? None of those happened actually. Bivol didn't, make it to the end to win the decision, nor did he get knocked out. Beterbiev got the decision, right? And I'm not, even as a person that picked Bivol to win, right? I'm not mad at the decision. Like I'm just not going to be upset about. In fact, I scored it for Beterbiev, so I can't sit here like it just is what it is, right? But if somebody had it a draw, I ain't gonna argue with you. A draw is very plausible, right? If not too cool, we're not talking about Canelo right now, bro. This isn't about Canelo, bro. You know what I mean? I know you want to talk about Canelo all day, every day, but like shout out to you. It makes it about Canelo, like. But and that's fair. And we'll get there maybe in another video. But look, um, it was a close fight. It could have gone either way. It is um, if somebody scored a draw, plausible. If somebody scored it for Bivol, definitely, I get it, right? My thing is this, and I'm seeing this a lot. This is the reason I'm doing this video. So I don't know what it is with people that I feel, this is my opinion, they punish the aggressive fighter. Like the aggressive fighter is almost expected to dominate in order to win a round or something. And if they're not dominating, beating the shit out of the other dude, then they're not being effective. And to me, that's just how it feels sometimes. It feels like not only you got to be effective, you got to be effectively aggressive, right? But I think that word effective, people are picturing like a beatdown. And if a beatdown isn't happening, then you say, well, he's not effective. Right? And that's my issue. My issue, and I've seen it. This has been a problem for years. I see people who just say, "Well, he was effective, but he wasn't aggressive, though." I'm sorry, he was. I said that the opposite. What the fuck? Yeah, he was aggressive, but he wasn't that effective. The guy coming forward is always expected to do more than the guy moving backwards, and I can prove it. I can prove it to you with numbers. Right now, I don't use CombiBox, right, to score fights, although you can use it as a tool to tell you about the story of the fight, but that's not how you score. Look, anybody pulls up BoxRec and tells you, oh, I give this round to this guy because he outscored him in punches in this round. And round two, CombiBox says he outjabbed him and he got any more punch. I gave it to this guy. Anyone who does scoring rounds that way is not doing it right, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You can use CompuBox to tell you the story of the fight, why one guy was effective, why it appeared like because they're not using CompuBox during the fight, so you can use it to tell you why you felt maybe more judges were giving it one way or the other, etc. But you're not supposed to use it in hindsight to score a fight. All right. Here's what I mean. If this is in practically every fight, in every fucking fight, all right? In most fights, to be more accurate, guys miss more than they land. All right? In most fights, fighters miss more than they land. Even if you're very accurate puncher, you're landing 45%, 40%, 35%, right? That's the reality. So meaning you're missing 60%, close to 70% of your punches. Even the most accurate guy, they're still missing most of the shots. You'll see fights. Oh, this guy landed 20% of his power shots or 30% of his power shots. Well, whatever the number is, usually, if you're at 50, that's unbelievable. It's like, oh my God, it landed 50%, but you're half and half, right? And what happens is when somebody's moving forward, people rightfully so see that as, well, that's the aggressor, right? When someone's moving backwards or at angles or meaning not being aggressive, right? When they're moving away, people see that as defensive. All right. And I want you guys to listen to me very carefully. So since one guy's being aggressive and the other guy's being defensive, right? What I believe happens to the brain in a lot of people Okay, and I do believe this, right? What starts happening is they're seeing more punches being missed than landed, like just in general, right? They're going to see the aggressor miss more than he lands, and they're going to see the negative fighter miss more than he lands. Both of them. That's always the case. Remember, that's always the case. But what I believe happens when one guy's being the aggressor and one guy's being the guy on the back foot, let's say, right? People don't like it when I say negative, right? One guy's on his back foot, one guy's being the aggressor, right? What I believe happens, what starts happening in the brain, right? People start registering, right? Not everybody. A lot of people start registering, well, him aggressive, him defensive, so him supposed to make guy miss more. Him aggressive, so him supposed to land more than miss. So what do? They do this math in their head that, well, the aggressor is not being effective because he's missing more than than he's landing. But then they say to themselves, but the guy who's not the aggressor, the guy on the back foot, the guy retreating, he's supposed to be defensive. So it's okay if he doesn't, like, they see it as the defensive guy is making him miss more than land. And with the aggressors, he's landing less than he's throwing or missing. The vantage point in which they're judging is skewed. How they're judging it, right? They have different expectations for each fighter because each fighter is fighting differently, and they believe that the success rate or what success is in their minds is different for each guy. And what you have to do is you need to erase that from your mind. They're both still expected to land clean punches. They're both still expected to be defensively responsible. They're both still expected to be a ring general. They're both still expected to be effective aggressors, right? But the problem with effective aggressor, people don't, if you are dictating the fight and you constantly have your opponent on the back foot where he cannot, shoot punches off comfortably, he's constantly moving, he's never comfortable. In my mind, that's already you can debate at what level it's effective, but there's a certain effectiveness already to your aggression, right? If your aggression is resulting in stifling the fighter on the back foot and he's not throwing as much and he's landing a very low rate throughout the fight, then your aggression is being effective. You can debate and you need to judge how effective that is, right? But too many people believe that in order to be an effective aggressor, if I go back to the original example, the aggressor has to be landing more than he's missing, right? And the defensive fighter needs to be getting hit more, right, than what he's making the other guy miss. And to me, that is utterly ridiculous because in 99% of fights, no matter what style of fight the guys are fighting, they're gonna land less than what they're gonna miss. That's just a reality, and I think that's what's happening, right? They see a lot of, and this is why you'll notice a lot of guys, they almost always give it to the fighter who has a bladed stance, who's backing up, right? Who's never the aggressor, because in that fight, like in most fights, there's going to be more punches missed than landed, so they think it's their fight, and in their head that makes them a ring general because, hey, it's a fight where not many punches are getting landed, so therefore it's his fight, right? And look, and if I go back to Teofimo Lopez versus Ortiz, right? And I get the Jermaine Ortiz fight. Some people felt Jermaine Ortiz won. I disagree. I felt Teofimo won, but it was close, I'll admit, right? However, what were people saying? And the numbers support this. Terence Crawford tweets out, now you could say, he has a beef with Theo, so if anything's close, where's he going to lean, right? But he said, hey, boxing's hit and don't get hit. Teofimo, right? And that's what people were saying. People were saying, oh, yeah, wait, it's hit and don't get hit. Because they were seeing one guy on the back foot. And Teofimo was the aggressor. But if you look at the numbers, they landed the same amount of punches. Teofimo landed more, I believe. Go look at the CompuBox numbers. I get CompuBox not perfect. And like I say, you don't use it to score fights, but you do use it to analyze the fight. It does show you that because one guy was on the back foot and it was a fight where not a lot of punches were landed, well, people just believe that the guy in the back foot's in control because, but that's not the way it works. You got to look at the punches landed. Teofimo wasn't any less defensive because he's coming forward. So, that is my issue. People assume if you're coming forward, you're not defensive. Well, that's not true. If you're coming forward, if you put yourself in the line of fire, and the percentage that you're getting hit is it's still around the same ballpark as the guy moving backwards, I would argue that the guy moving forward is better defense because the other guy just avoided engagement. Right? Now, I'm not here to tell you guys that Bivol was being negative throughout the whole fight. And Bivol, I thought, boxed a beautiful fight, right? But I think Beterbiev boxed a great fight, too. And it just because it's not aesthetically what you prefer a boxer to be doesn't mean he's not being effective in what he's doing, right? And I think too many people lean on preference, right? That's what it is. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. Let me just pull up the... I don't want to bring up the Beterbiev but right now because we're going to do that for HCP, but let me see if I could bring up, not BoxRec. Jesus Christ. You guys ever look up CompuBox? You type BoxRec like I do? It's fucking ridiculous. We're going to pull it up right now, right? I just want to prove my point. That's all I'm trying to do, right? Just remember how Jermaine Ortiz boxed in that fight, okay? And look at these numbers. Just look at the numbers. That's all you got to do, right? Let's look at the total here. If we go down, I don't know why this thing's being weird. All right, there we go. Look at this, guys. First of all, they landed. Look at this. Jermaine Ortiz landed at a lower percentage than Theo, but they're on the same ballpark. Jermaine Ortiz missed 80% of his punches, guys. 80%. But people came away. Ask yourself, why did people come away thinking, oh, he put on a defensive masterpiece? Even though he missed at a higher percentage than Theo per CompuBox. And even if you think, oh, the numbers are bullshit, okay, but they're around the same ballpark. Look at the power punches. Theo landed at a higher percentage, right? He landed a couple more. He landed more power punches on Ortiz per CompuBox. So on what planet can somebody tell me Oh, yeah. Teal lost because it's hit and don't get hit. And this is boxing. He put on the defensive. He was defensive. It was a defensive wizard in there. Okay. He was a defensive wizard that got hit more than the other guy. You got hit more than the aggressor. How the fuck are you the better defensive fighter? But people came away from that because the brain plays minds with people, right? They see Teofimo Lopez being aggressive and they see, Ortiz being defensive, right? So their expectations for each guy are different. Lopez did not succeed as the aggressor because he missed more than he landed. Ortiz was successful as a defensive fighter because we're expecting him to make Lopez miss more than he lands, right? That is an exercise I want you guys to examine and start paying attention, right? Honestly, start paying attention to how people score fights and start seeing a pattern on how you'll notice a pattern. There's certain individuals that if a guy fights offensively, they always give it to the guy, especially if it's close, right? And they'll talk about the fight in an abstract way where they kind of make it seem like they'll paint a picture that isn't even real. Because for some people, they see someone on the back foot, and it becomes like this mirage, quite frankly. And to me, the Teofimo Lopez Ortiz fight, I remember watching the fight and thinking, everyone keeps talking about the defense of Ortiz because he's using his legs to move, but what about Lopez with his head movement and making Ortiz miss multiple punches in the process? Now, I will say, like, there was times where Lopez wasn't making him pay after making a miss. I get it. But neither was Ortiz. But if you're boxing negatively, if you're boxing defensively, the fact of the matter is, for a lot of people, right, for a lot of individuals out there, it's like you get rewarded even more for landing punches, right? You land one counter and they'll act like you just did something amazing, right? But don't get me wrong, some counters look amazing, right? But the guy coming forward, it's like, since they put the word effective on the aggressor, people act like they got to be completely dominating in order to be effective. No, effective, right? There's bandwidth with effective. There's a degree to it. The degree of effectiveness can be debated. But it's not like black or white. It's not like either you're not effective at all or you're effective 100%. No. There's degrees to it, right? And however you judge that degree of effectiveness, right? However you judge it, well, we still got to keep in mind is if the other guy's not being aggressive whatsoever, then the one being aggressive, even if you don't think it's very effective, is the one actually making the fight. And you're mistaken if you believe that because the other guy's on the back foot, that he's the only one being defensive. No, like I showed you in this example, right? Jermaine Ortiz versus Teofimo Lopez is the best example I could give you guys in a fight where the perception was Lopez was 100% aggressive and Ortiz was 100% defensive. No, you could be aggressive and defensive at the same time. And that's what Lopez was. He was so effective in his defense that he got hit less than Ortiz was, even though Ortiz was on a back foot. And that's what the numbers show. That's just the reality of the situation. All right? So that's all I got to say. I'm glad you got some a little beer on there, Rodriguez. She's shine. How's it going? Anyways, guys, I got a lot of errands to run, all that good stuff, but I appreciate everyone that tuned in. And this is D-Style Boxing. More during the week, guys, but just give a thought on what I'm saying. That's all. Peace.